Hello, and welcome to Every Day with an Angel. And this is my podcast that I'm doing now. It was Life Clarifications with Natasha. Now it is Every Day with an Angel. And I'm so grateful that I got this name because it's like I have just been blooming into who I'm meant to be. And, people probably noticed the last couple shows that I've done have been a little bit more channeling and, just this whole dance and the Every Day with an Angel mini podcasts. I've been doing videos along the way, but I'm hoping that these Everyday with an Angel moments, even if they're 2-minute videos, can support you in this dance. Well, I am so excited because this has been the journey that my friend Susie and I have been on. We've talked about doing this. She was on my Life Clarifications show, and then afterwards we're like, we got to do something together for a little while. And this is what we came up with. So Susie is my gifted friend. She's a fellow channeler, intuitive, amazing gift of this world. And Veronica says hi. And it's one of those things. So Susie is going to be here the first Wednesday of every month until probably December, and then we're going to reevaluate how the new year comes in. And it just seems like that's the energy right now: is how do we negotiate where we're at right now? So I'm so grateful, Susie. Thank you. Can you tell a little bit of people about yourself just so that they can kind of get it? Hi, Sobaya. I'm grateful you're here, and I'm grateful that you're doing the dance, and I hope that your trip to New York is better and graceful, because my love is with you as you're going through that journey. So, Susie, how can people reach you? Not yet reach you, but who this is what Susie and I do. We just start getting into it, and it's like
we do some improvisational stuff here. Interpretive dance. So, hi, I'm Susie Parker Goins. My business is called Blue Lightning Healing, and as Natasha said, I am a channel. And the way that looks on me is that, well, source comes through in a variety of ways, and it expresses itself because, it's a great big spectrum. So why I don't limit stuff to just only doing it this way. So sometimes I talk as your spirit guide. So, Gaia is like this cup of tea and a nice scone, and Bridget tells you just bugger it and go on. And it just depends on who you're talking to. It's a physicalization of how you can differentiate the energies. So if Archangel Michael looks like a beach dude to you, cool. It's however it needs to be so that you can feel comfortable with it. I encourage my clients to relax into the energy. So I channel as guides. I can talk to ancestors. I am opening up to talking to recently deceased folks. Sometimes it's great, and other times they look at me and go, no, we're not talking to you. And I think that's part of it. We get to explore this in such a way that it's respectful, and we have the consent of whoever we're working with. So talking to ancestors also, like generations back, so we can identify origin points of, say, behaviors or traumas. I also look at past lives, which is another way to see origin points for trends in one's life. I do energy work and Reiki master. I can do body scans. Honestly, I ask a lot of questions when I'm in a session with a client, not necessarily of the client, but of the spirit guide. So I connect with the spirit guides and go, okay, I feel this here. What is that? And we move on from there. My website's bluelightninghealing.com, and that's where all the information is. I think, yeah, it should be. I know. I last weekend I got to see my IT person, my web developer, and she said, "I didn't know if you were going to be at this event." And I said, "You could have checked my website," and she had developed it. So I got to like thank her.
That's
Yeah, her daughter was just snarking up a storm. It was great.
That's good.
I also have a podcast called Blue Lightning Healing Meditations, and for the last, no, it's been at least since January, possibly December, I've been doing 3 times a week light language
I know
shorts,
it's been
essentially. So
you've been really, and then I know on your videos you've been doing a lot about chakras and waking up
that's the
those
current
chakras.
series. Yeah.
Yes,
I
that's the
have to pay
current.
attention to my schedule because I'm like, I am. Oh, yeah, I am.
Because because I know a lot of us have messages to do things and then we don't get a chance to. I know for me that, since I've been on some shows and things are coming up and it's like, I'm one person. I got to do it all. I mean, it's like, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
a
for me, the
story and I'm not
soft
sticking to
underbelly.
it.
Yeah, the soft underbelly is that I record these way in advance and then I upload them. So it's like, oh, okay. So I got to learn a whole lot about chakras, and there are other ones too. It's not necessarily new ones, but there are other ones I wasn't aware of. So, a lot of the things I do, it's because of my curiosity about, of course, now that can lead us into the rabbit hole, but I have curiosity about all sorts of things and I go and look, and that's a lot of the joy of what I derive from what I do.
And yeah, and I think that's why we work so good together because we are so out there in the universe that we're not attached we as long as we know our guides are here to support to protect us and negotiate the world
Yeah.
with us that we are pretty a lot in sync with you know
Yeah.
our universal talk, and doing things. And so when we're talking about things, it's like we're here and hi Patty. Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, and Jay, I'll read what you have here in just a minute, but I want to kind of get into this, our story about where we're at because I know for me, with a lot of my sessions that I've been doing and a lot of the people that I've been working with and I know that you've had to deal with this. It's going down that metaphorical rabbit hole. What are we doing? It's our emotions. It's about our jobs. The other people around us that pull us down into this. "Ugh, why am I here? Why am I thinking the same thing over and 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 over again? And I can't get it out of my head." It's like that, you know, thing that we do. And it's why are we here? And what is that thing? So, what is your definition of a rabbit hole?
A rabbit hole, it's for me, the rabbit hole is when you dive into something or you start looking at this a topic. For me, it's looking at a topic and then going, oh wait, there's that too. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. And then I kind of like pull my head out into the air and go, okay, wait a minute, where do I start? And I get a lot of good information out of it. It's just then I need to allow myself that time to process it. I think
Mhm.
another kind of rabbit hole is when somebody takes a lot of time to go into a rabbit hole, but it's not necessarily their rabbit hole to go into, like, yeah, it's like, okay, but what about them? What are they doing? It's like, it's not about them. This is about you. What are you doing to help yourself? And so that's the kind of rabbit hole try to stay away from. And I love going down my rabbit holes about, oh, let me look at star seeds now. That's my new one. It's like, who are the star seeds? What are they doing? How can I identify them? What else do I need to do? And then the rabbit holes I derive from developing the series on the light language. It's like, where are we going with that? It's I don't think it's necessarily bad. It can be time consuming.
Mhm.
But there's a lot to be derived out of it. There's a lot of less learning to be done.
Mhm. Exactly. And I think with any rabbit hole, positive or negative ish, I don't like saying the word negative because nothing is
Yeah,
truly negative because it's all here to teach us, right? But when we go down to that, repetitive, uh,
yes.
not so fun language, that is a rabbit hole that we can go down. But then we also go down these rabbit holes of like, holy crap, that's what I need to do now. Okay, I can do some research on that and go into it really deep. And
Yeah,
then you come up and go, oh, is it dinner time now?
yeah,
Oh, I gotta make dinner.
yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Uh, and my husband always asks, didn't you think of dinner? I go,
No.
no.
I've been doing stuff. I'm an entrepreneur, don't you know? I'm doing my stuff. Yeah, the repetitive thought rabbit hole has been very challenging for me, and there are a lot of techniques I've learned to help with that. And long in the 90s, it was like, oh, you get a rubber band and you think something and you snap it, and that was using pain to replace it. And I didn't,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I just that one I didn't grok to at all. but the repetitive thoughts actually, I think, are of service to you when you look at them and look at the source. What's causing this? Is it your repetitive thought? Is it somebody else's thing? Or even if you want to go out there, it could be some sort of attachment. I had this one attachment that made me think I was being looked at by the paparazzi. And it was
Mhm.
somebody else who was looking in at me, and those repetitive thoughts were like, stop it. I was just beginning to feel paranoid. And once we had that attachment removed, then I was like, wow, my head's really quiet. Now what do I do? And the guides are all over there going, you could talk to us. Oh, yeah, okay, let's do that. And that was an ability to replace those repetitive, intrusive thoughts with
Mhm.
something more useful. So there are a lot of ways to deal with it, depending on which rabbit hole you're looking at.
Yes, exactly, and I know, like, I've been talking to people where they're just, like, so hard on themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's talk about that one. I think that that one's a good one to being hard on ourselves. That shame game, the guilt game, you know, why aren't you doing any better? You're just a frick up and all those types of things. And we all come by it naturally. I think that's part of, I'm human. You know, it's
Yeah,
and it's a lot of where we came from. You know, our
yeah.
families that we've come from, or siblings that we came from, or
Mhm.
even churches that we came from.
Yeah. I think a lot of that is externally imposed on us, what
Mhm.
society says we ought to do. Or, like I raised my family, um, my husband and I grew up in the Catholic Church, and I did not raise my kids that way. I raised them in different school environments than what we were used to.
Mhm.
And so while that impacted how we raised our kids, it still had an impact on them.
Mhm.
So those external biases, if you will, what society says we ought to look like. Well, you know what? If you know me at all, you'll know like, oh no, she's different. And especially with what I do, with what we do, we are definitely outside of the box. So
Mhm.
reconciling that with the other things that are going on, that's
Yes.
one way to look at the shame and the blame game, and is realize that it's not really from us. We didn't derive that. It may be the result of other things. So
Yes,
looking at
exactly.
those traumas.
Yeah, I had a friend who texted me and said that there was a comment made that I should delete. So, because she looked them up
Oh,
for me.
good.
So,
Thank you very much, friend. I appreciate that.
me too. Because in the show you don't always have that time to do that. So that's what
No,
I was texting back was saying thank you very much.
okay.
It's that thing that I so agree with. We got to really look at where things come from. And I disown you. I think that that's part of the tools that we can use, when we're in this dance of who we are is, you know, that we got to look at where things come from. Like you're saying, it's that, you know, because sometimes we start saying things to ourselves and we just say it so naturally, like we've owned it and claimed it. And it's like, really? Just because my, sibling told me that I was stupid all the
Yeah,
time, does that mean that I am? I
yeah,
may not know
yeah,
everything, but why am I stupid? Right? And we
yeah,
just come honestly by that.
yeah. And being able, I think that's one of the first steps in rebuilding ourselves, is looking at it and saying, no, I don't agree with that. I'm not stupid, or I don't believe that about other people. This is what I believe about me, and taking a good look at yourself. One of the things I talk about with clients all the time is look at the language you use. Like you were just saying, Natasha,
Mhm.
look at that language. There are some words that I find in soul contracts, like always, never, can't, only.
Mhm.
Those are the words that bind you in such ways, and it's not just in this lifetime. It can go back just
Mhm.
generations, looking at the family line and looking at the past lives, which are not necessarily the same, but going there and finding those origin points, because some trauma is based in a family behavior time and again. And it does take strength and courage to say, I'm not buying into that anymore. I'm not doing that. Yeah, you lose some sort of connection somewhere, but is that really a connection you need if they're going to make you feel this
That.
big all the time?
That
Yeah.
exactly, and that's the thing is that sometimes people feel like if they stop saying that they're stupid because unconsciously they don't remember that their brother or sister said that or a cousin or
Yeah.
something, that we have to disown them because they said that. No, we just have to disown the language because now they're older and may have different understandings, we hope, and if they don't, then we have to negotiate that communion that we have with someone, it's like,
Yeah.
or
You
that
may still have
relationship.
to disown them if they're still being toxic and abusive,
Exactly, exactly, and I know
But
a lot of people are having to cut some cords to some blood
mhm,
relatives, and
yep.
and that's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, it hurts, it's not
Yeah.
easy, it's a negotiation, but we have to sometimes, and, you just raised your hand because 'cause you've had to.
I've had to. Yeah. Yeah.
And
There's other things we can do too, like reclaiming our power from those words or that person. There is, put yourself in a place where you feel empowered and see that person in front of you and say, you took my power, I want it back. And so
mhm,
you take their power back. And then somewhere in your body, they've left their energy in there and you give it back to them. And yeah, it goes through this filter of being purified and all that. But the thing with those energy vampires, which, yep, here's a rabbit hole. Wee! Energy vampires, they keep taking your energy because it's not resonant with them and they think they're getting more out of it. But when you reclaim your energy, that empowers you to be more completely yourself,
mhm,
and that's when you can start saying, oh, wait, that wasn't me. Those aren't my words. Those are somebody else's words. And you can reclaim yourself and build yourself back up again. It is an amazing journey to go on.
mhm, exactly, and that's the thing about life is that, you know, that we have to disrupt the disruptor.
Mhm.
Our mind likes to tell us that we are a certain way, and sometimes we have to say, "No, stop. I disagree with you. I disagree with you." And, why and where do we go with that? It's okay, to
Mhm.
be perfectly imperfect. And people are so hard on themselves that,
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm going down a rabbit hole, I just say to myself, "Stop. I'm okay. Stop. Could you just stop? I'm doing good." I literally say that. I mean, out loud to myself. Just stop. Because I'm tired of the what's going on here, you know?
But you
And
also recognize your progress. I don't think we
mhm,
all give ourselves enough credit for the progress we've made. Like, my lovely wrist here. I fell 2 weeks ago and now I can walk better and the scabs are healed and the concussion's not so bad and we've identified what's up with this and I know I need to keep my hand in the karate chop action position and I know what I need to do. But I saw myself 2 weeks ago after the fall, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, but now look and seeing where I am, at least physically here, I'm a lot better." And then I can look and see where I am emotionally and spiritually and
mhm.
psychologically. When we all give ourselves credit for that,
Yes.
that is such a powerful tool
Oh,
against
it's beyond.
others' BS being dumped on us. We don't need that. Yeah.
I know it is that, like I was just talking to someone and I was saying that, sometimes our little kid in us, our
Oh,
little
yeah.
our little, child takes us down that rabbit hole because they're like going, but nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants me to do anything. And I am just feeling sorry for myself. And what am I gonna do about this? And what are you gonna do about this? And I'm just so dumb and I'm just so stupid and I just don't want to be anywhere. And can go on and on and on and on. And what do we
Yeah.
do with a little kid who's feeling sorry? We bring him
Scoop them up.
around and say, "We got it, kid. We got it. We're going to do it, and there's that to me is one of my tools. This part of
Yeah.
me that is feeling whiny, sad, unheard, unwitnessed, um, unvalued, the uns, whatever the uns are,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or the, it's like I bring that part of me up and say, "Come on, dude," or dudette, we can do it, and I'm sorry you're feeling that way, but is that our reality? And that's the thing that I people need to ask this question is this truly my reality that is going off? This rabbit hole or whatever we're going through. And we're talking more of a negative rabbit hole right now, um, because, it's just right there right now for a lot of people that, when we are in this, acknowledging these emotions that we're in, people don't acknowledge their emotion enough that they're in and seeing that it is something valued to listen to and to negotiate and to just be with, if that makes any
Hmm.
sense.
Emotions aren't good or bad. They just are, and they're
They
signals for
are.
you as
Mhm.
far as something going on. So, talking about the inner child, oh boy, you can get so much work done when you just acknowledge the inner child and find out. They can tell you what those origin points are, that what caused that. And you can also um talk to an inner child and say, okay, I see where you're at. And it's that acknowledgement. We've agreed that that's a good point. But look to see where I am now because I am you and I have done this. So acknowledging whatever progress one has made will help with that inner child, help them to reincorporate, reintegrate with you.
Mhm.
And of course, there's going to be other inner, younger versions of you
Mhm.
that are
Teenager.
going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, as you're working on that inner child, it's going to help reframe the energy, so the next inner child is gonna be a little better, and it's gonna shift because everything's energy. As I heal, you heal. As you heal, I heal, and we're all connected, and you shift the energy, and everything is adapts to it, and you may think, "Oh, no, this isn't that much." Oh, boy, yeah, it is.
Mhm. It really
Yeah,
is.
it is.
But I'm gonna say that intuitively, I am hearing people going, "Now, that all sounds good for you who knows how to talk to yourself. But how do I do this when I don't even hear an inner voice?"
Okay? My first thing is believe.
Yes.
Believe what you get. Everybody says, "Oh, trust your guides, trust this, trust what." Believe what you hear. So, have that inner conversation. I love to talk to myself when I'm in the car. I'm driving along. It's like, well, okay,
I
let's
do
see.
too.
Michael's over here. Blah, 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 blah. I will get information and I have learned to believe it. That's one of those things. Some of that external input has been, oh no, you're not right. That's wrong. Or, you're
Mm,
crazy. That wasn't there. Even though you saw your grandmother when you were 5 and she had been gone and she told you about this, even though you know this stuff, look at those moments and accept that it's true. Okay, so spirit guides, let's get this all cleared up. Spirit guides are uplifting. They will support you. They tell you lovely things. They are not going to tell you to go drive over that cliff. They are not going to tell you to punch somebody in the head. They don't do that. They will guide you and
mhm.
they are there to help you. They're not going to say, yes, no, you're an idiot. That's not what guides do. They help you to grow. So find that voice that helps you feel better about something,
Exactly.
or if you, oh, okay, okay, rabbit hole. If you need a physical manifestation of getting something, I'm
I
about
love
to go.
you.
Let me hold on.
Well,
Here we go. Yeah. No, I had to reach behind it. If y'all know how to use a pendulum,
uh-huh.
use a pendulum. That's a physical manifestation, an external focal point. You say, show me yes. And it swings. It doesn't swing very hard. Okay, show me no. And I'm trying very hard to keep my arms still, but it's going to move and you're going to get this input from you. If you need that external validation, do that. Or you can use your body. How does your body feel when you hear yes? For me, I wobble forward. How does it feel when I hear no? I go backwards. So I'm in the middle of Trader Joe's looking at all of the toast foods.
Same
Is
thing.
this good for me? Yeah. Is this bad for me? And people think I'm day drinking or whatever. I don't care. But
I know
this is
I
that.
grab onto something. I honestly go back and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I don't even have to question anymore." But
And
that's
after this thing, my family stands around me like, like, no, I'm muscle testing. Leave me alone.
I hear you.
But
But the one thing that I want to give people is that, if you are feeling hurt,
Mhm.
take that and say, "Okay, hurt. I can hear you. I can respect you. Thank you for being you. I love you." If you're feeling shame, if you're feeling disappointed, if you're feeling like nobody listens to me. Okay, nobody listens to me. Get simple and bring that whatever that feeling is, because that's being observant with yourself, right? That going into that and be aware of who you are and get simple. Yes, you can
Yeah,
listen to guides, that first thing that hears you, but if you're simpler than that, if you are just basically trying to hear things for the first time and you don't know what to do and you have an emotion, erg, well, get erg around the shoulder and say, "Hey, erg, you know I got
yes.
you. I got
Just
you.
ask.
I
Yeah.
got you. I got you." So whatever emotion that you are presenting, whatever that is, if you feel like that, that could be your inner child, that could be your teenage self, that could be whatever, and you don't even have to know that. But it's as simple as, "Okay, dude,
Talk to it.
talk to it, whatever it is, and give it a hug of love and appreciation
Mhm.
and understanding." And sometimes when we do that, that kind of says, "Arg, arg, arg," and then you want to talk to sadness about it because they're just so sad and nobody hears me, but I was so mad because nobody wanted to hear me, but now I'm sad. And you go, "Okay, I can hear you. I'm witnessing you, and love
Mhm.
it." And that's that. If you do anything, get simple and just give the emotion you're dealing with a hug, like it's a kid, you know
Mhm.
um yeah and it's an interesting dance, and that's one way we can first get into hearing our guides. We can first get into understanding is when we're open to that vulnerability of being who we are. And that means whatever we're doing, and that will help us to get out of the rabbit hole.
Or at least set up a nice cozy den as you're talking to the emotions, you
Exactly.
know?
Sometimes I like the rabbit hole because it gets me
You
down
know?
there and it just gives me a chance to say, "Okay, where am I? I'm
This just
here
gives me
now."
a spot to hang out. Yeah, to hang out,
Exactly.
drink my tea. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. It's where we're at, and that's part of being human, is figuring out that we have emotions. And most of the time, it's our emotions that bring us down that emotion or that rabbit hole, of things. Even if we're excited, that's an emotion. And if we're really excited, that can take us down the rabbit hole. It can
Mhm.
take us down that spiral of, "Oh, I got to do this. Now I got to do this. Now I got to do this." And it's like somebody who goes down the rabbit hole of working on cars. It's like they go out and they say, "Oh, I need this part. And I need that part." And they go off to the parts store before they even check in with their spouse about what they're doing. And then all of a sudden that they're in there for 5 hours because they went down that metaphorical rabbit hole because they enjoyed working on cars, right? And the spouse is sitting there going, "But what about me?" So they're going to go down
Yeah.
their emotional rabbit hole because what about them, right? But it's about balance though, and checking in with that rabbit hole. And I know I'm being caught in my own personal rabbit hole. That's a positive because my business is expanding. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. But it's like it can be when you have your own business, it can kind of be consuming a little bit, and I'm excited about it because it's something that I've been doing as a my soul calling here. But there again, it can be rabbit hole. right? And so how can I balance those things that are here and there, you know?
You're right. It is about balance because you got to rest and you got to do other things. You can't be totally involved in whatever it is. People want you to. They think you need to be totally consumed. It's like, no, I can be balanced. I can do what it is I want to, what I love to do, which is more than one thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I have a comment here and it's kind of a little bit off topic, but I'm hoping it doesn't take us down the rabbit hole. So, hi everyone. I trust my intuition. It told me that my twin flame is having two lives. Current concerningly. Um,
Concurrently.
concurrently, thank you. As his soul is in two bodies, it has it was a shock at first, but now I know it's true.
Okay.
Generally, is what it said. I'm like my reading and my dyslexia are in two different places. So, um,
So,
yeah. So, what do you think about that?
okay. So twin flame, that's a whole, I don't think it's a hot button topic for me anymore, but that for me is somebody, uh, parts of a same soul who are very intensely attached. I get that. Kind of like a soulmate mega,
Hmm.
just uber soulmate, it's very much like that. As far as a soul having concurrent lives, I think that is definitely a thing. A soul can be split up. Like when I'm looking at past lives, I will tell folks, no, not everybody can be Catherine the Great. I can't tell you how many Joan of Arcs I've met, like 4 or 5 of them. But it's interesting to me to think that a soul like that would be content to be consolidated in some sort of, intuitive healer from Washington. I think because of the impact those souls have had, they're going to have aspects split off into other things. Then there's also the fact of a kind of a typical soul having concurrent lives. I've how did somebody explain that to me? Like, you have how did she explain it? It's like here you are, you have all of these lives down here, but if you look up, you see it's all connected
Hmm.
and it's all part of the same soul. So I think it's absolutely possible that it could be concurrent lives. Maybe they know about each other. It doesn't feel like they do, but it's an interesting thing, a rabbit hole of which I have not dived into. It's just that's what I know. That's what I think about it.
Well, I
Does
know
that
for
help?
me, yeah, I know for me that my
Okay.
soul is doing like so many different dimensions right now. If you've watched Loki
Mhm.
or Doctor Strange, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And truly, what is a past life? It could be a now life. It could be it's a future life. It could be whatever life. It's the Matrix. It's it's whatever you want to call it. So with that, you know, and I've seen a witnessed twins that one had part of the soul and one part the other one had a part of
Mhm.
the soul. So
Yep.
you have these abilities to split. How does Archangel Michael help so many different people, right? Um,
He's over there saying, "'Cause I'm a stud."
exactly, exactly. So how can he be? How can Mother Mary be with so many? How can we be with so many? And I get that. I can understand that there is so. No, sorry, it was a bit random. You're fine because it is. But we're gonna try not to go totally down that rabbit hole. But even though it's a good story on how not to take ourselves down the rabbit hole. It's a good explanation, that when we are in our soul's walk, that many times we can have our soul fragmented. It doesn't mean it's not whole. It is whole. It's just whole where it's at. And then it's off doing like, the hand. I like that explanation.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
like
We've got different bits of it.
your text was one thing and it got sent out to 10, 15 people, right? So our soul can
Yeah,
go out to these different areas and yet at the same time though we are whole where we're at, and that's what it comes down to. So you know
yeah.
I hope that that's a good explanation because, that's why you get connected with so many people that kinda can feel the same, is that they kinda all have a little bit of the same signature of their soul.
Mhm.
Not to say that they're the same soul. Whole conversation, we're gonna say, "Ah."
Okay, because I was about to go down a rabbit hole about the layers of the soul, because we have our little souls, we have the oversouls, and we've got source and everything's like so ultimately we are all the same, but
But at the
there's my
same
rabbit
time,
hole.
though, this is what I always come back to, and all that is out there. All that is out there. What it comes down to, though, is being where we're at with
Mhm.
the emotions that we're with. I'm having a show with my very good friend Susie, and she's been a gift to want to do the show with me for a couple months. And I am just so excited to be on Every Day with the Angels um, system of coming out to be who I am. That is what matters right now. So even though we have all these understandings, yes, honor them, see them for what they are, find them what their messages are. Just kind of like I had a squirrel, a cat, and a bird, all within 50 yards or 50 or about a half a mile, in front of me. What were all those messages? They have one, two, three. I thank you for the cat message. Thank you for the squirrel message that I actually almost hit the squirrel, and which was an explanation point of a message for me. And then the bird that was off in a distance, but it was about getting the message, what that bird was for my future, right? And so, what are we hearing? What are we doing now with our life? And where are we at with our life? And that's when sometimes we have these physical things that happen in our lives to bring us back to reality. Because we can be up in the head for eons, but really it's about coming back to the body, being with the body, being in with the body, and being with the bodies that are around us. And then being the
Mhm.
spiritual sense as we walk that. How are we doing that? What is our intention while we do that? What is the business of doing that? What is it? Why do I feel so passionate about what I'm doing? Oh, maybe there's something about what I should be doing about this. What is this thing that we're meant to do, right? Where are we supposed to go with this? And it's about being human, coming back to that humanness.
Yeah, being in the moment. There's something about being present. A lot of folks, I encourage people to be in their bodies and to accept their bodies the way they are. And then we get those little, well, but I would fix this. Like, no, 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 no. Where are you right now in your body? And feel it and be comfortable in it. And then we expand that energy out to include Mother Earth and to include Source so that we understand that we are a manifestation of all of that stuff in this moment. What we choose to do with it is ours. And yeah, people are at different places in their journey, and it's not making anybody less than the other because that is part of the journey we've all have we all agreed to take it? Yeah, we came in bodies. So we're here in the body trying to figure out where we're at in this moment. And where you're at in this moment is perfect. You're whether, you've got a business devoted to this sort of stuff, if you're in the middle of it, or if you're just beginning, this is where you need to be in this moment because sitting there, it's like, what was it? Once, if I was talking to one of my brothers and I said, dude, you keep looking over your shoulders. You're not going to see that wall in front of you. And he went, wow, that's really deep. Where did you get that?
I love that. If you keep looking over your shoulder, you're not going to see the wall
Shoulder,
in front of you.
so,
I love that.
don't compare yourself to where other people are. You're going to get there. And those folks that you perceive as being further ahead, talk to them. Ask them questions. I mean, that's my whole thing is I'm going to ask questions, whether it's of a guide, of another practitioner, of a client, shoot, I'll just, ask the road. Where are you taking me right now as I'm driving? And it's asking the questions and having the curiosity and the openness to find out what's ahead. Um, I tend to spend a lot of time being happy about what it is I'm doing because I spent a lot of time thinking, oh, I'm not so good as everybody else. And then I realized, well, that's not serving me.
Mhm. That
It's,
is, and that right there is a rabbit hole.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is that moment of, well, I should be there because they are, you know.
Oh, should. Oh, that's one of those deadly words.
I know. Like, but one thing that I do is like I had a friend who this is an example that, I heard that he got on Coast to Coast and I was like, "Oh." And secretly I said, "Can I piggyback on that energy? Can I whisper into that knowing? Because I know that, I've seen myself intuitively doing that, but reality hadn't shown up yet." And I'm like going, "Can I get on that coattails?" It's like riding the comet, through the space, right? And so instead of comparing myself to somebody, I say, "Can I share in that energy? Can I ride
Hmm.
in that energy?" So I'm not taking away their shine, you know? Oh, hallelujah. Great for you. I'm so grateful that you got it that chance.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then secretly I'm going, "Can I ride with that energy? Can I just piggyback?" And that's the thing is that when someone is propelling themselves, are able to stay out of that rabbit hole, who is walking, please don't compare yourself, but ride the energy of it. Let that energy feed you because there is so much negative energy out there right now that when you pick up on somebody that is a blessing and is a sunshine, that's why I put out so many videos because I know words are words, and I know you put out a lot of videos because it's like when you're witnessing somebody and they are a certain way. Like one of my videos, I was in my closet as I'm cleaning it out, right? It's like I'm here, I'm doing, but how am I doing? What is my intention while I'm doing it, right? So,
Yeah. Intention is like all kinds of it. It's like when you set your intention, you can go all kinds of places. That's when I do my light language videos, like, oh, let's look at this. Okay. And then that's what comes out of it. You can set an intention for anything, really. You
mhm,
can set an intention that your food, it's like blessing your food. Your food is going to be better bioaccessible and it's going to be healthy for you. You can set the intention that you'll have a great day or that traffic will be great. It's just whatever it is you need in the moment that will help you get through it. And
exactly. I know.
sometimes it's the whole day, and sometimes it's just the next minute. It's
And
whatever
that's
you
all we can
need.
get through is that next minute. And that's
Yep.
that's the thing, and how can we negotiate the next minute? And sometimes it's faking it until you make it. Sometimes it's that, a moment of saying, "Stop," you know, like I just had
Or
a
breathe.
breathe, stop. That
Mhm.
was then, this is now, and I'm in the now and I'm moving forward.
Yep.
I've used that mantra, I don't know how many times. Stop, stop. That was then, this is now, I'm moving forward.
Right. Right.
You know,
And
get
then
something.
breathing.
Mhm,
Yeah, you breathe in love and you breathe out that anger. You breathe it in, you breathe it out, and just get yourself to a place where you can be centered. Just breathing alone. I mean, scientifically speaking, shifts you from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic, from the trauma response to the rest and digest, the recharge thing. And if you can just breathe,
mhm.
3 breaths is really great. It's not about meditation, it's about recentering yourself in the moment.
Exactly, exactly, and, you know, uh, it doesn't matter what rabbit hole you're going into, but it's about moderation. So if you
Hmm.
notice that you're hyper focusing on something, and stress will do it. A big event coming up will do it. Like, actually, I'm going to be on Coast to Coast on Sunday night at 10 to 4. I'm so excited. And so, with that, now I have to say to myself, this is a huge rabbit hole because it's a big full circle moment for me. um, I have to say, ground myself, be with myself, love myself. If I start thinking about this, you know, at bed, I can say, you know what, brain, I'm trusting, surrendering, accepting because I don't have all the information yet, and you're gonna have to wait till morning. You know? You know, and I got this fall call last night, but I had to go do my morning situation. Nope, I'll deal with this on break. I have to send something at break, but I'm going to be in the classroom I'm in. I'm going to be doing this work that I'm doing. And it's like focusing in on here is where you can really negotiate your world. And I know for me, like a lot of times my brain wants to do a lot of talking before I go to bed. So I purposely have a very relaxed book to read. It's actually about six sisters who found out they were witches, and they are negotiating how to walk their life. So they are dealing with, which it's kind of funny, they're dealing with Samedi Baron, who's a negative entity. And I know him
Okay,
as
they're experiencing Baron Samedi
the
as a negative?
author wrote it. The author wrote it as Samedi Baron is a god that wants to, or god that wants to take over this one. And it's just kind of funny because it's just an author
She
writing it.
don't know him.
Yeah,
She
you don't
don't
know.
know him.
I know him as a dude that smokes cigars, wears a cap hat, drinks alcohol. He likes
Sure.
actually whiskey. You know,
Sure. He
yeah.
there to help you. Uh-huh.
Yeah. See, there you go. She's channels him. You know, it's
There he
like,
is. Uh-huh.
yeah, no, he likes boobs. He, like he says, we're gonna be skeletons. We're gonna be skeletons in no time. So enjoy your bone or your skin while you
Enjoy your
got.
life now, because I'm coming to get your bones later on. Yep. Oh, sure.
Yeah. So it's that thing. And thank you, Sada. I'm so grateful that you're saying that. Thank you. Yes, I'm excited. It's where we're at and what we're doing that is really important. And thank you, Samity, for coming. I do love you, and I do miss talking with you.
I talk to you all the time. It's just how you want me to show up. That's all.
I know you do. I know you do. I know you do. Do you have a message for those around us?
Hmm. Um, well, y'all been talking about that. Living your life the way you think you should. Don't worry about what nobody else says, because it ain't their problem. Some folks want to make it their problem. It ain't their problem. What I ask of you is to look in your own heart, look in your own self, and treasure it. Even those little, what was it? You had some little toddler throwing a tantrum over there. Pretty big tantrum, too, I must say. Even those toddlers throwing a tantrum, you love on them and you let them know, look at where we're at now. You're not alone. You're not alone. Nobody's alone. You got us here. You got yourselves here. You got your heart. So look at your own heart. Yeah, some of them are broken. You can piece them back together, and they're still going to be beautiful. Recognizing that inner beauty y'all got. That's worth it. When you recognize that that sort of love is worth it, you'll make all kinds of progress in your growth, in your soul's journey. Call on any of us. That's the big thing. Call on us. I don't care who shows up. We're not going to swoop in, because that's not what we do. We're going to come in at your request and give you what you need in the moment. Maybe not necessarily what you want, but what you need. We'll got you. We got you back. Is that good enough for you, dear?
It is perfect. And I want you to know that I so appreciate you and everything that you've done, because I know that you have great boundaries around me, and I am so grateful.
Yeah,
So
we're
great.
here to help everybody be prosperous
Yes.
and successful. Nobody's looking to put anybody under a thumb.
Nope. It's our
That
own
don't
thing
work.
that it's our own thumb that we put ourselves under. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Sam.
Sure.
You are amazing. Thank you very much, sir.
hmm We so love y'all. All right. We're gonna let her come through. She's sitting over there going, ugh.
It's my show. I love it. Thank you, Susie. Oh
Mhm.
yeah. That was a pop in. I've been popping things been popping in too with me that I know that are safe. That's the thing is that thank you, Susie, for doing that. I appreciate you
Yeah,
being
you're
open
welcome. He's just so smug over there going,
and that's how we know Samity is that he's a character, he's
he's a
that
good guy.
he's a good guy. And
Mhm.
And whatever the author is writing, I just kind of giggle and smile, and because actually she's just talking about how darkness comes in. And that's one thing that Samity Baron represents is the darkness that we have in this world. I work with Azrael in, well, they're the same, different people, but Azrael, Archangel Azrael, works with the energies in the spirit realm, while Samity Baron works in the spirit realm, but more in the earthly realm,
Mhm.
where Azrael works more in the angelic realm. And so with that I love working with both of them because you get both sides of the story.
We tell everybody to ground and then connect to source. So yeah, it's just another way it presents and expresses itself, whether it's earthbound Mother Earth or barren or Azrael or the source, divine, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
It's just I think that's the big point is however it shows up to you that makes you comfortable and relaxed enough to accept it. Because,
Yes.
nobody's gonna yeah, real source and real earth is not going to, bring you down to a point where you can't function. They're gonna
Yes.
help you and support you.
And that's what I want people to understand too, is that when we are working with energy, and we're working with our brains, and we're working with our emotions, that that negative stuff wants to bring us down, because that's where our natural humanness is comfortable with.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, it's about being doing things in spite of it. And that's been my mantra lately. I'm going to do it in spite of my naysayer. And the naysayer could be the
Yeah.
mind. The naysayer could be the negative belief systems. The naysayer could be, a friend or a family member. The naysayer could be life. But if you're meant to do something and something feels right, do it in spite of the naysayer.
Sorry, I just had to text my sister and tell her to give me 15 because she always seems to call me when I'm doing something. It's like, "Don't you watch my website?" I apologize for getting phased out there.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good. You carried me
Mhm.
when I had to take a text. I'll carry
Yeah.
you. It's a thing. But that's the thing is that neither of this was negative that we were doing, because
Right.
it was a thing, and people put so much emotion into other people's things. And there again, like somebody was saying that, it's not whatever they're doing, it's their thing. It's that, whose movie are we in? Sometimes we like to play
Yeah.
in, like, the president's movie. I'm not even close to the president. I don't even know him personally. I just know him from TV, and all the things that I've heard about him, right? Which have been good and bad, per se.
That's
Whatever good and bad is, it's like it's all somebody's perception on what bad is and what good is, right? You know?
but it is easier to see the negative. For some reason, it's easier to step into that negative. So give yourself the credit of being able to step a little beyond it to see the positive. It's not necessarily being rose-colored glasses and completely ignoring what reality is, but sometimes it is a question of, okay, that wasn't pleasant. What positive, what lesson did I get out of it? What gift did I get out of it?
Mhm.
That sort of thing. Yeah, it's not always doom and gloom. That's really pretty exhausting if you think about it.
And
Try
people are
looking and
exhausted
seeing
out there.
something.
Yeah, people are exhausted, and that's what I've given to people lately, especially, is that, practice little moments.
Yeah,
Practice those little moments. Like, if you're putting your hand on a handle ready to walk into a room, stop and check in with where you're at. Because we can be going down that rabbit hole and we're not even consciously ready to walk into what we're walking into. And then we get bombarded by
Yeah.
holy crap, I have a meeting. What am I supposed to do? Da, 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 da. Instead of going, oh, I'm going into work. There might be things happening. I'm not too sure what it's going to happen like, but I know I'm walking into the door. Here I am. Oh,
Yeah,
hi,
walk in with
Sally.
your
Thank
protection.
you. Hi, Sally. Oh, I have a meeting. Oh, okay. Well, give me a minute so I can put my stuff down so I can breathe for just a minute before I go into my meeting. I'll be there in just a minute though, because I will honor that moment, right? So, that's the thing is that a lot of us are floating around in someplace else because we're down that rabbit hole, and it's to practice being where you're at. And what are you while you're there? What are you while you're there? It's a
Yeah,
thing.
being in the moment throws that protection around you too. I was about to go down another rabbit hole, but it's like, no, we're almost done. I need to just like wait. It's just but we've covered so much of it, grounding and clearing out stuff and calling in source and then making sure you throw up protection around you.
Mhm.
It's still being centered in that moment so you know where you're at. When you have that balance and understand who you are, what you're doing, and believe that you've got this.
Mhm.
That's like the first step of getting anywhere.
It really is. It truly is. And actually being in the moment is actually a great protection, because
Hmm.
when you're stronger where you're at, then you're not so like able to have people knock you off by their conversations, or
Yeah.
the energies of other people knock you off with where you're at. When you're out and around, and doing things, it's amazing to be where we're at and do things. So, you know, we're human. What are we going to do about it? Sometimes we got to smile and laugh in spite of it. We got to
Mhm.
find that music in our heart to do the dance. It's that, how can we manage it? And, I'm so grateful that you didn't stay in the rabbit hole of your injury, that you didn't stay in the
Oh God, no.
victimhood of it. And, that you moved on, and your family let you move on. And, and it's an energy, it's an energy. So,
Yep.
Susie, thank you for being here. You will be here the first Wednesdays of every month for a while, and at least until the end, until Decemberish. And then
Yep.
Regan Forston is going to be here the third Wednesdays. And I actually have a good friend that I just met. I was on her podcast. She's going to be here. Stacy Combs is going to be here next week, and she is going to talk about her story and how she came out of it. And she had epilepsy, and now is very now doing her podcast. She was a TV producer, or she was on air and stuff like that. So she's come through a lot. So her story is going to be amazing. So she'll be on my show next week. So,
Awesome.
Susie, how can
Awesome.
people reach you? We talked a little bit about that at the beginning. How can people reach
Yep.
you?
My website is bluelightninghealing.com, Bluelightninghealing.com. You can email me at Susie, Susy, at bluelightninghealing.com. And my website has, I'm on Spotify with Blue Lightning Healing Meditations, but there are also links to the podcast on my website on the podcast page. And that's where you'll see what events I'm going to be at in the Seattle area generally. And I'm, you know, doing having a good time and loving my life. And so I'm grateful to have been here. Thanks, Natasha, for having me. Thank you all for coming in and listening in. And I appreciate your comments. And I look forward to talking to y'all next month.
Yes. Oh, we're excited. And I'm just so grateful for this doorway that is coming open, as both Susie and I are here to help us humans negotiate life in general and how to do better with it. And I'm just so grateful for this moment that we are here together. So if you would like to reach me, I'm at angelicclarifications.com. I love to support people. That is my life calling. I'm also on all the platforms pretty much Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, doing my videos
Yep.
once a month. Every day, except for Friday night and Saturday night. And I'm here. I just love podcasts. Also are on Every Day with an Angel, so you can catch those. Now they're just going to be on Wednesdays. And guess what? Listen if you are awake for Coast to Coast. They are on Spotify and a lot of those platforms are one of the biggest producers of a show out there. They have been around for years and years and years. So Coast to Coast, I'm going to be on from 10 to 12 on Sunday night. This Sunday night.
Very cool.
I am. Yes, yes. And we are both going to be at the fair down in Kent at the end of this month.
Yes.
Too, the 23rd.
What is it? Emerald Spiral on the
Emerald
23rd?
Spiral.
September 23rd. Yep.
Will be in human form down at a fair. So blessings to all. Thank you for being here live every Wednesday at 4 o'clock Pacific time, here to show you the dance of life through Every Day with an Angel. And then look for my videos to help you out along the way. Every Day with an Angel shorts. Bye now. Blessings to you.
Mhm.